Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Essay. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei become a true dragon? Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. In the space between dimensions, two great and powerful beings fought. Two beings, both made from concepts beyond human perception, fought for one thing and one thing only. The ownership of the space. One for its pride, the other for its dream. Both of them calls the space home. Neither wants to share. It is beneath their kind, after all, to share. They are beings of incredible selfishness and will. And they are the pinnacle of their kind. Humankind calls their species dragons. One is a red western dragon, with a single horn on its snout. The dragon manifested from the dreams of all beings in the world. The illusions that they want to turn into reality. Those dreams give birth to it, the true red dragon god emperor, Great Red. The other manifested from the nothingness that birthed the world. Vast, infinite nothingness. The black serpent that ultimately devours its own tail, the Ouroboros dragon god, Ophis. They clashed every time their temper reached its boiling point. Great Red only wants to realize its dream, to fly better than any of its kind, and no place is better to train than the empty space between the world. Being seen not at its best isn't appealing to him, and Ouroboros' stares made it furious. Ophis wants its home, the silence of dimension gap. But Great Red claimed the place while she went away, and she lost the absolute silence. It would stare at its enemies whenever they recuperate from their last fight, a secondary and childish way to ensure that Great Red Dragon can never truly calls this space its home. And so they fight. Their fight is nothing short of disaster. Space ripped apart, their power expelled at every direction, and their aura pushing each other back. The dragons coiled and bite one another in a seemingly eternal dance of carnage, never truly defeating one another. Infinite power cannot destroy illusion, and illusion cannot destroy nothingness. But they keep fighting, again and again and again. Each time, the power that filled the space become denser. They didn't know or care, leftovers are not worth their attention. Until one day, after their latest fight, the energy coalesce into a single red and black stone. The stone then falls from the space into a certain planet. The planet that houses life. The planet that will give the stone life. Earth. The Hyoudou family is a typical middle-class family. They have a home, they have steady income, and they live in a suburban area. There is only one thing missing from their life. A proof of their love, a child. That is the reason that Hyoudou went to an obscure shrine in the middle of a forest. Rumors said that the abandoned shrine will bless those who touch a stone in the middle of it with the gift of life. The couple doesn't really believe it, but it is their only chance to realize their dream. They never expected that the shrine will give them more than that. Honey, are you sure about this? I mean, it's almost night, we should stay at the inn until tomorrow. Mr. Hyoudou walks behind his wife, who is stubborn enough to keep getting deeper and deeper into the forest. I have a good feeling about this, I don't want our chance to disappear, the woman replies, her voice tainted with fear. Fear of never having any progeny. When they finally arrive, they find the shrine to be rather small, with some of the rotten wood already collapsed. The center of it, though, is still in good condition. The Hyoudou walks to the center, carefully avoiding the sharp edges of rotten woods, until they finally near the legendary stone. It is big. As big as an adult. The stone's colors is red and black, seemingly twisting each other. The Hyoudou dismiss it as the effect of their flashlight and their eyes playing tricks on them. Taking a deep breath, both of them touches the stone, praying fervently for the gods to grant them their dream, completely missing any change that happens near them until it is too late. The cloud starts gathering, accompanied by thunders. A great storm brewing above them. Mr. Hyoudou is the first to realize it and wants to warn his wife, who is still praying fervently. But then he finds his right hand stuck to the stone, and in some bizarre way, the stone seems to be absorbing something from him. Help. The husband desperately tries to remove his hand, to no avail. What is it? The wife, hearing his husband shouts, try to move to her husband, but her hand stuck on the stone, too. That's when she follows her husband's example, shouting for help that never come. And it isn't needed, for lightning bolt struck the stone, and the couple was thrown by the force it created. Miraculously, they never lose consciousness, they wasn't even harmed. The husband was the first to get up, frantically checking if his beloved suffer any injuries. Honey, are you alright? Mr. Hyoudou rubbed his hand around, feeling if there is any wound on his wife. She didn't reply, partly because she is breathing frantically from shock, the other reason is because what lies before her. The stone was gone, replaced by a little baby who already possessed the ability to crawl. The baby wasn't crying, in fact, his eyes are focused on the scorched earth beneath him, and his hand is busy trying to grasp them. Against her mind screaming danger, she gets up and lifts the little baby of the ground, which caused the baby to cry. Oh honey. The husband is out of word, seeing his wife cradling a little baby that apparently comes out of a giant stone. He has your hair color, the wife's statement put the husband in shock, and he too examined the baby closer. "What are you, your chin?" the husband said, his eyes tracing every part of the baby's face, and he found that the baby somehow have combined physical characteristic of himself and his wife. He is just like. The hiatus understands. The stone really turns their dream into reality. Just not in a way they expected. "Our son," they said in unison. Despite the unusual conception, Issei grows to be a normal person. Short spiky hair, average height, and little bit of muscle. That is if you don't count his fire-breathing tendency, his incredible reflex, enhanced senses, and his pitch-black eyes. Not to mention the fact that he remembers the first time he met his parents and his time as the stone, which made him older than his parents, so to speak. Creepy. Also, he has strong attachments to anything related to his family, bordering on possessive really. Like when he saw his mother talking to a kid, he actually shoved that kid and hugged his mother's leg, proclaiming that his mother is his mother alone. Which is a serious problem at the start when a distant cousin who just lost both parents arrive at home. Issei absolutely refused her presence and doesn't let her touch any furniture, saying mine all the way. Her name is Issei Hyoudou, his paternal cousin, and in time, Issei acknowledged Asuka as a family, a sister even. It becomes another source of headache because Issei hissed at her friends. It took countless reprimand and teaching from both parents for Issei to grow out of it, barely. His attachment to his home extend to his refusal to go to school, because it isn't home. Hell, he almost convinced Asuka to stay at home too. Issei even goes as far as to say that her school smells. One of many weird quirks that Mrs. Hyoudou mentally throw in a bin named just Issei's things. There is one trait, however, that induces the greatest headache of all. One that made everyone thinks he is a delinquent. He doesn't like anyone staring at him. Which landed him a lot of problems when an actual gang stares at him. He beat them all, barehandedly. One of the victims, who turned out to be from a rich family, threatened lawsuit. Despite all of his weird characteristics, Issei is not without positive. Issei is determined, smart, a great cook, and, with his mother's teaching, grows to become more kind towards others. Nevertheless, for all her teaching, Mrs. Hyoudou also knew that at this rate, Issei will never have friends. So Mrs. Hyoudou tries to enroll him to Kuo Academy, the same academy where Asuka goes to, after it opened as co-ed school. And Mrs. Hyoudou will use Asuka as her weapon. Issei is a picky eater. His favorite food can be counted with one hand. Chicken curry, sashimi, yakitori, ragu stew, medium rare wagyu beef steak with mushroom sauce. Issei usually begs for the last one. Without one of these foods on the table, Issei won't eat. At all. Not to mention sulking all day. Sometimes it drove his parents mad, but the sincere smile he has while eating one of them is almost totally worth it. Almost. Issei can eat 3 times of normal person, courtesy of his non-human physiology. And a human mother can only cook so much food. Issei-kun, his mother approached him while he is cooking, one of the moment where Issei cannot afford to be angry, lest he risk overcooking the food. It is also the reason why Mrs. Hyoudou bought the expensive meat. Is there any problem? Did our neighbor annoy you again? Issei replied, his back still on his mother, his focus is on the delicious meat in front of him. One of their neighbors prefers MILF and somehow convinced himself that Mrs. Hyoudou reciprocate his feeling. Needless to say, Issei beat him half to death. That, and the fact that whenever he went outside, local gangs tried to bully him, earned him the title ultimate delinquent. This town is strange like that. No, nothing like that. Mrs. Hyoudou lets a few seconds sink in, playing with her ring. Honey, would you go to Kuo Academy? I already sent them your information, including your tests, they accepted, you're set to go tomorrow. On, it isn't home. The place smells, Issei whined. Again, that comment. Perhaps Issei is much more sensitive than her. Still, it is important for Issei to socialize like a normal person. And Mrs. Hyoudou has a good plan and the information needed to execute it. Asuka-chan told me yesterday that 2 men, the perverted duo, she said, is harassing her, said Mrs. Hyoudou. In her mind, she prays to whatever gods forgive her sins and to bless the 2 perverts. Give me their name and address. Issei already turned back, his eyes blazing. Gotcha. I need you to protect your little sister, Issei-kun, not beating people after you fail to do it, Mrs. Hyoudou sigh, for additional effect, waiting for his possessive attachment to kick in. Fine, I will. Issei relented. His mom's smile and hug only served to annoy him further, his mom always knows which button she needs to press. Issei-kun, yes, Ka-chan, the meat's burnt. What? The next day, Issei stands at the school gate, frowning. He hates the smell. For him, it is so pungent. This place is not home. Not his home. Asuka is family, however, and he will to protect her from the jerks of this school. How he would love to burn this school to crisp with his breath, but Ka-chan said no, so. Isn't that the ultimate delinquent? I heard he killed a man. Look at that bloodthirsty eyes. Ambishounen, taking our girls. Some student already gossip about him, thinking that he can't hear them in the distance. His enhanced senses, however, already picking them up, much to his dismay. Great Issei murmured, before he sets his foot on the school ground, his mind set on Asuka's safety. Knock knock. The teacher opened the door, smiling at her new addition. Class, we have a new student. Please introduce yourself. The teacher handed him a chalk. Issei wrote his name on the board before turning around. A small smile on his face, a sign of goodwill. Wouldn't be good to reinforce the gossips about him. My name is Issei Hyoudou, I was homeschooled, this is my first time going to school. Please take good care of me. Issei finished with a small bow. Being stared at by this many people just pushed many wrong buttons on his head. You're new here, it's nothing weird. Relax. Issei keeps telling himself. It doesn't work. Any question for our new friend? The teacher asked the class. Have you killed someone before? A girl asked, knowing his reputation. No. Issei deadpanned, is he that notorious outside? He makes a mental note to ask Asuka later. Did you beat 30 members of Yakuza? A boy in front him asked. No, technically, he didn't beat that amount. It was 60. Meh. Class, enough. He's not here for that. The teacher rubbed her temple, hopefully the new student isn't as difficult as his rumors. Any others? Yes, Mitsuda. The bald student stands up. My first question is, are you Asuka-chan's brother? Issei twitched at the Chan addition, and, are you here to steal our girls, you damned Bishounen? We already have one of you. The teacher stops him by throwing the eraser. Mitsuda, you will not. It's okay, sensei, I will answer. Asuka is my distant cousin from my father's side, but I do consider her to be my little sister, and I don't appreciate some guy my sister never talked about calling her Chan. No, I'm not here for that, and what is Bishounen? The teacher face-palmed before telling Issei to take a seat, already planned ridiculous homework special for Mitsuda. Serve him right, he even took a pic of her panties. Goddamn pervert. The smell, Issei can't help but being distracted by it. It almost suffocates him. Earth-like smell. Like the smell of earth after rain, but million times more intense. Issei subconsciously let go some of his control over his aura, pushing the smell out of the class. Unfortunately for him, what he considers to be little wasn't gone unnoticed by supernatural beings on the school. The black-haired woman with red glasses, short bob cut, and violet eyes, was busy with her job as the president of student council before an omen-like feeling washed over her. What is this energy? The petite white-haired student was in the class when she felt an energy drove out the devils around the school. Her eyes widened, slightly clouded with fear. In the occult research club room, a red-haired beauty feels the peculiar energy and she licked her lips at the potential. A new rook, perhaps. Lunchtime at school is the worst time. Ever. Everyone is looking at Issei. No, not just looking, staring, and gossiping. They don't even bother being quiet. Seriously, the point of gossip is not being heard directly by the subject, it is a common sense. Then the baldy Mitsuda and the glasses guy comes and sits on his table where he's supposed to be eating with Asuka. Now Asuka redirects her course to her friends thanks to the baldy. This day just getting worse and worse. Fucking baldy. Issei is a pervert. That one stings. He doesn't want to be compared to these two. So Issei, right. What is your opinion about this school? The glasses guy starts the conversation. The cafeteria noise lessened a bit, it seems they are paying attention. Great. It is noisy and the food sucks, Issei answered, right after taking his first bite, frowning at the taste. No, we don't mean that. Mitsuda starts blabbering, we mean the girls. Issei, the girls. This school's male to female ratio is 2:8, in another word for one guy, 4 girls, you get the idea. Issei's confused face answers everything. Are you, by any chance, gay? The glasses guy asked hesitantly. No, then you should understand. We are in heaven. Yet we don't even have a girlfriend, everyone treating us like pariah. My condolences. Don't be Issei-kun, that kun is definitely not welcome. Seeing the girls' panties every day is worth it. Several girls start shouting hentai, but Iduo seems not a bit perturbed by the comments. Remarkable personalities, to say at least. And you Issei-kun, can be my salvation, Mitsuda pointed to Issei. Issei had the idea to snap the finger right there, if this is not his first day. However, Issei is more interested in where this conversation is going. Salvation, how? Let us reintroduce ourselves. Issei-kun, we are the perverted duo. The most perverted students on this school. Holy shit, he is proud of it. Issei's eyes widened in awe at the creatures before him as he stopped chewing altogether. I am called the perverted glasses. I have an ability to measure girls' sizes just by looking, it earns me the title 3 sizes scouter. How can this guy be human? I am perverted baldy. A member of the photo club, my other title is sexual harassment paparazzi. This duo starts posing like Super Sentai, and Issei is paralyzed from the sheer magical realism-like atmosphere that washes over him at the sight of perverted duo. They are insane, that is the only answer Issei can think of. And Issei-kun, I am a lolicon. Lolicon? Interest in girls that looks underage, the glasses guy explained dismissively. Oh, Issei digested it for a second. Oh. Yes Issei-kun, you understand at last. I, Mitsuda, is interested in your cousin, Asuka, and I ask you for your blessing to court her. I baldy. Asuka's voice can be heard from a distance, Issei can even hear her footstep. But Issei's attention isn't on her. He is seeing red. Mitsuda-san, glasses-san. Motohama corrected him. Motohama-san Issei, in his infinite patience, corrected himself. I suggest both of you disappear from my sight in 3 seconds. 3. Wait Issei-kun, you aren't being sensible, the irony is lost to Issei. 2. Just because you're a delinquent doesn't mean you can order us around. Mitsuda hit the table. 1. Issei lost his patience, and in an instant, the table broke as Issei's leg went through it easily. Mitsuda doesn't even have time to react. 1 inch more, and Mitsuda would be reduced to a vegetative state by the force of Issei's kick. But it didn't happen. For better or worse. The blue-haired girl, with a face that Issei can't decide whether to call her beautiful or handsome, stopped his kick with her hand. The earth-like smell coming strongly from her. Strange, Issei didn't feel her nearby a minute ago. Behind her stands a black-haired girl with bob-style cut and glasses, only looking at the incident. She is the first to speak. Issei Hyoudou-san, excessive violence is prohibited in this school, even for guys like them. And who are you? Issei can't help but wrinkle her nose, the smell is greater in the black-haired girl. I apologize, I haven't introduced myself, she motioned the blue-haired girl to let go of Issei's foot. My name is Sounda Shitori, the president of student council, and this is Tsubasa Yura, my subordinate. Tsubasa waved her hand. I see, then I apologize for the trouble, but these two filthy creatures are really pushing their luck. Hey. The two filthy creatures objected at that, but being silenced by Sounda's glare. I understand why you did it, Issei, but a rule is a rule. Except for the one who made them. Issei bit back the snark remark. Since you're a new student and this isn't entirely your fault, we shall let this one go. But make no mistake, Issei-san. Sounda's face gets uncomfortably closer to Issei. Any more violation will be treated with extreme prejudice. I keep that in mind. Sounda-san. Issei meet the intensity of Sounda's eyes with his own, then he back off, going back to the classroom, leaving Sounda to deal with the perverted duo. After school, Asuka is a first year with short hair, a little underdeveloped figure, and slightly shorter than the average student. Underdeveloped figure in a school full of hotties, go figure. She loves her brother, although he can be too protective, she appreciates that. Sometimes Issei spoil her in his own ways. When she wants something she sees on TV, her brother will move heaven and earth, finding a way to make one for her. He always cooks everything she likes and teach her at home, which prevent her grades from falling to oblivion. She doesn't know her brother's power, which at this rate is a divine intervention. A big one. She hates the perverted duo with passion, and as a member of Kendo Club, there is nothing better for her than to beat the shit out of them. She almost cheered when Issei almost kicked Mitsuda's head. A bit hypocrite, since she is a closet pervert. Today, a student from another school, Yuma Amano, asked her to show her around the area, saying she comes from Kyoto. A new friend. Asuka likes her already. From their brief talks, Asuka noted that she has many similar interests. But her overprotective brother drove the girl away, but not before the girl asking him out. Yes, asking him out. That part made her nose bleed a little. Her handsome brother and his new cute girlfriend. She smells strange, said Issei, almost not paying attention to her as he watched the girl disappear into the crowd. That also puzzled her. Why is her brother always talking about smell? When she was in junior high, Issei wrinkled his nose and said that she smells. Then he said the school smells. Then this girl. Her brother is strange. Oi Asuka, oi. The distracted Asuka quickly snaps out of her reminiscence when Issei shakes her. His face is the epitome of seriousness. Yeah, Issei what is it? What kind of a question for Issei to use his serious face to her? Why is everyone thinks I killed a person? Asuka, almost literally, face faulted. Seriously? You don't remember? The gang near the store. That doesn't count. It does. It doesn't. It does. They were only half dead. They were in coma for 10 days. Unknown to Issei, a Redeed student and her raven-haired subordinate are looking at them bickering, already brewing up plans for the hiatus. On the other side. Sounda's subordinate Tsubasa sees Issei before seeing her palm. It is bruised from the kick before. He isn't a normal human. To tell the truth, Issei didn't want to do this date, but he had a feeling if he refused, the admittedly beautiful girl will target his sister. His instinct tells him the girl is up to no good. His instinct never failed him. Uma Amano. She smells sweet, with traces of smell like she's been in the sun for a while. Unlike the school's smell, which is earthy, her smell is so sweet it made him want to puke. She also didn't look like she's been tanning. Definitely suspicious. And the girl is late. Really late. What the actual fuck? For the girl who supposedly attracted on first sight, this is unacceptable. But he'll play along, just to make sure. Sorry Issei-kun, did you wait long? Said Yuma in an angelic voice, blushing a little. She wore a black dress, with purple jacket on top. Issei couldn't help but think. Is this girl just come here from a funeral? Not that he really care about it. Long enough, I'm starving, said Issei as his stomach let out a horrifying sound, stunning them for a second. Asuka told me about a good steak joint not far from here, wanna go there? Said Yuma after the awkward moment. Issei only nodded and led his hand being held by Yuma. Yuma Amano grinned inside. Play cool all you want, Issei Hyoudou, I know you are a hikikomori, you can't deny my charm. The date is surprisingly fun. Yuma Amano showed Issei areas that even Issei didn't know. Yuma said she researched the night before. Though it causes them to be lost several times, it didn't lessen the joys Issei felt. Time, as usual, flows fast in good time. Sun is already setting, Issei and Yuma hold an ice cream made of long bean. How can a vegetable be transformed into this delicious thing, God, said Issei with a little smile as he lapped up the delicacy. Issei-kun, there is many unexpected things in this world, and I try my best to enjoy all of them, Yuma told him sagely, and he nodded in agreement. So, anywhere else you want to go to, Yuma-san? Issei asked her. Well, there is a park around here, I want to end our date there. Sun said in the park, I think you care too much about your name, Yuma-san, Issei joked, missing Yuma's slight flinch. They reached the park. There is no people there. Issei and Yuma watched the sunset near a fountain in silence. I love it, Yuma broke the silence. Sorry. I always loved sunset. Since the first time I saw it. I've fallen head over heels to it. I hate it, said Issei suddenly, somberly, and Yuma raised an eyebrow. Sunset means night will come. I hate the night. Night leaves me alone. No one to touch, to feel. I hate sunset. But tomorrow always come, isn't it? Yuma half expected Issei to spouting crap about the inevitability of death. It didn't prepare her for Issei's answers. Exactly, said Issei, his voice laced with sadness. More silence wash over them, this time a bad one. Issei-kun, there is one last thing I want to do, will you grant me my request? Sure, what is it? Will you die for me? Yuma's words wake Issei up to the harsh reality. To be honest, after the good time, although just for a while, he wanted Yuma to be harmless. Thus you can't have everything in this world. Issei back off as black wings grow from the back of Yuma. Beside that, several other changes happened. Yuma's face becomes older, more mature, her body to become slightly longer and curvier at the right places. The eyes, however, changes the most. They are cold and terrifying. I have to admit, Issei, we had a good time. You're not little puppies like other men. Rainer flaps her wings, flying into the air. Even her voice's tone change. Issei wondered how much is true when she pretended before. Still, you're a threat to us. You and Asuka. Don't involve her in this, Yuma. Can't do that, I'm afraid. Don't blame me. Blame God for giving you and Asuka sacred gear. Sacred gear? The buzzing noise almost drowns out the last word. But he didn't get the chance to ask as spears made of light materialize on her hands, and she throws it in the direction of Issei's legs. Issei sidestepped it easily with his enhanced reflex. Fast, have your sacred gears being awakened. Issei lets loose a wide area fire breath, which Yuma dodged with some difficulties. I can't give him a chance to retaliate, Yuma thought at the fire-breathing human in front of her. Dragon type. They are pretty rare. Yuma charged another light spear, this time bigger. Her throws is getting faster as well. Then another, then another. Initially Issei had no troubles dodging them all. But Yuma's throwing speed gradually increases to the point it can no longer be human, which made it tiring for even a powerhouse like him. Wait for it, Issei dodged the incoming light spears, one of it grazed his cheek. He waited for Yuma to tire herself out. After a time Yuma's throw is getting sloppier, and Issei seized the opportunity. Now. Issei fills his lung and let out his fire breath, but to his shock, Yuma's spear pierced his stomach, burning his insides. I see we're waiting for the same thing, Yuma grinned. The winged woman throws another 3 spears in rapid succession, 2 lodged itself on his lungs, and 1 pierced an area just below his neck. Amazingly, either from sheer tenacity or just incredible pain tolerance, Issei just won't fall. Strong bastard, Yuma smiled at the stubborn being in front of her. She calls forth her strongest spear so far. I will give you a warrior's death, Issei Hyoudou. Yuma grinned maniacally. The energy can be felt even from the ground where Issei stood. Seeing Yuma retracting her arm, Issei tries to move, but the pain and suffocation are unlike anything he ever felt. He managed to take out the spear that near his neck. The action didn't do much, other than more pain and blood. Isaiah looks up in the direction of the fallen angel, right when the last of sunlight hit litter appearance, making it as if it was out of fantasy. Her maniac also enhanced the atmosphere. He internally laughed at himself. Killed on his first date, what a joke. The realization hit him. Killed. She will kill Asuka. Will it stop there? Mom, Dad. That's when the memories start flooding his mind. Son, you need to restrain your strength. Memory of him accidentally breaking his father's bone. Issei-kun, you are too strong, control your body. A little memory of him cutting the cutting board. Issei, stop, I'm okay, stop hitting him. A memory of beating a creep who followed Asuka at night. The memories are like noise to him. All of them emphasize on 2 things. control, self-restraint. His parents' oldest teaching, one he tried to practice and fail miserably. Self-restraint and control, I don't need them right now. Who am I kidding, playing human? This bitch has stopped playing minutes ago. A distant memory flashed, memory before his life as Issei Hyoudou. Two dragons, jet black and crimson, forever in a fight. Fighting with incredible savagery. I need to let loose. Issei closes his eyes, something Yuma thought to be a gesture of defeat. It is something much worse. In the depth of Issei's soul, a crimson Chinese dragon with jet black belly rests. Its body is bound by chains made of crystals with identical colors as his own scales. It just lie there, waiting for the day it needs to wake up. That day is today. The pulse of light disturbs the peaceful slumber of the mighty creature. It opened its left eye, it was as crimson as blood. Yuma throws the spear. Clink. The moment Issei Hyoudou opened his eyes, his left eye has already changed to that of crimson without any visible pupils. Then two things that shocked Yuma happened. First, the spears embedded inside his stomach and lungs were crushed by his newly acquired rapid regeneration. Second, Issei holds his right hand forward, catching the light spear. This time, he doesn't feel anything. How can you? Said Yuma, shocked. Regeneration is still within a sacred gear's power. But there is no way a sacred gear allows a human to catch that light spear barehandedly and not harmed. Despite only a lowly fallen angel, her power is considered better than most of her peers. Her light spear is extremely dense, it can kill humans and devils instantly. Except the energy she feels since Issei regenerate is not humans. It was divine. It is solid. Issei examined the weapon in his hand. He can see that his palm's human skin already burnt off, leaving behind small crimson black scales underneath. Gritting her teeth, Yuma generated multiple light spears, throwing it way faster than before. Issei uses the spear in his hand to deflect all of them. Definitely more challenging than 60 Yakuzas. Issei holds back the urge to grin. Issei throws the spear back to Yuma, which she dodged quite easily. Her only mistake was her sight following the spear's trajectory. It was nothing more than a distraction for Issei to jump. Yuma is caught off guard as she never thinks Issei can jump that high, and she almost didn't prepare herself for a punch that follows. It is the only mistake she does in this fight. The bone-crushing strike left her guarding right arm useless. The force of the strike pushes Yuma back to the ground, cracking it in the process. While Yuma is in daze, Issei follows up with an axe kick. His enemy barely dodged and stands up, but the moment Issei's heel touched the ground, it creates a sizable crater that disrupts her balance. Yuma tried using her wings to regain balance and fly. Unfortunately for her, Issei wouldn't have that. With a harsh tug on one of her wings, Issei brought her back to the ground, smashing her back into the crater. Yuma tried to retaliate by creating another light spear, but Issei responded by holding her left arm and used it to repeatedly slam her to the ground. Stop, Yuma tried to plead, but it fell on deaf ears. Issei is not done, not by a long shot. A sickening crunch of bones being broken echoed throughout the empty park, followed by a choked scream. Issei stomps Yuma's right leg with his enhanced strength, eliciting more whimper out of her throat. Even if you kill me, Asuka will be dead by this night. Tell me what you know, Issei commanded her as he waits for Yuma to catch her breath. Not receiving answers, Issei stomped the left knee. More pained shouts and swearing filled the otherwise calm evening. Giving her a moment again, Issei waited before asking her the same question. Yuma is still whimpering from the pain, however, and she hesitates to answer. Issei lost his patience. Issei pulls one of her wings harshly. Stop please, Yuma pitifully begged him. I will clip your wings, Yuma, Issei threatened. There are more of us, Yuma speak between her breaths. Figures Issei is seething inside. Half of him want to kill her. Others knows that leaving her alive can lead him to her comrades. How many of you are there? 5 including me, Yuma slowly answered. Can you point where they are at the moment? Yuma hesitates again and Issei start twisting the bone. Wait. It hurts. Then answer the damn question. I'm not going to answer until you promise me something. You are in no position to make demands. Issei's eyes narrowed. He really would have clipped her wings if not for what she said next. Do you want Asuka dead? Or turned into a devil? Yuma finally regains enough stamina to speak normally. Half of her hope that her gambit pays off. Devil. Hook, line, sinker. Issei Hyoudou jumped from house to house, destroying several roofs in the process. He doesn't really care about that. Life is at stake here. His mind is focused on Yuma, no, Rainer's information. 15 minutes ago, the park. Devil? Yes, devils. They use your school as their headquarters. They also already targeted your sister for a while, wanting to turn her into their servants. Tell me more. No, not until you agree with my request. This girl is seriously grating on his nerves. Alright, let's hear it. I want you to swear that you won't kill me. Fine, I won't kill you, not even a thought. Hold your horses, Issei. Take my hand, I'm going to reinforce it with magic. Issei is annoyed, and furious for that matter. The lying girl accuses him of not being trustworthy. This girl keeps pushing her luck. But he also knew that it can be beneficial for him. Magic bond, I suppose it will not be easily breakable, better turn this into my advantage. And what is the contract? You will do no harm to me and I will not hurt you. No. But Rainer protested, but Issei silenced her. I will not harm you if you do no harm to me, Asuka, and my parents. Now this is Rainer's turn to be annoyed. Issei is pretty cunning in his own right. Fine, Rainer relented, a small addition is nothing compared to her life. The green circle with winged patterns covers the ground as Yuma activated her magic. I, former servant of the Lord, will make a pact with Issei Hyoudou. Runes of ancient magic start to covers their hands. Former servant of the Lord. Fallen angel. So Abrahamic faith is true, after all. Issei pondered. In exchange for my own safety against Issei Hyoudu's and the information I know, I, Rainer, will not harm Issei Hyoudou, his parents, and Asuka Hyoudou. Now say your name and say you accept the term. I, Issei Hyoudou, accept you. Not Yuma, Rainer names hold power. Magic that binds each other is usually powered by them. A fake name won't do. I, Issei Hyoudou, accept Rainer's term. For this I swear upon my power. Rainer starts speaking in unison, an effect from the magic. Until one of us die, this vow will bind us. The runes sink to their skin, not leaving a mark. Okay, now that it's out of the way, start speaking. Rainer rolled her eyes at that. So impatient. There is no time for me to tell you about the whereabouts of the fallen angels. What's important is that one of the fallen, Donosik, is following Asuka and planning to kill her tonight. She always practice her kendo with her friends Murayama and Kadis on this day. They literally stalk her everyday life. The veins on his head throbbed. Remember when I was late? It was because I saw a familiar of Devils of Kuo giving her magical letter that will summon them. They want to capitalize on Donosik attack on your sister. They will let her die so they can play hero by resurrecting her body and bound her to servitude. Bastard. Issei grit his teeth. You know where this Donosik will attack? Yes. He will attack when Asuka has entered the shortcut she always use. Fuck. That road is pretty much empty. No witnesses. Worse, it is too far from his own location. There, I said it, now go, save Asuka. Yeah? And leaving you to warn your brethren? Nice try. Issei practically sneered. Well, what will you do? Our magic pact is enforced by our own power, you cannot fight yourself. Rainer countered, her face the epitome of smugness. I didn't say that I will hurt you. Issei grinned. Current time, Asuka's location. Asuka walks home, her Bakken is on her shoulder. She is practically skipping. Gosh. At this rate, we will win the tournament. She was so immersed in her little world that she almost failed to see a guy who wear a trench coat. His fedora casting shadows on his face. He also wears black pants, white shirt, black shoes, and black gloves. All in all it gives him the vibe of extremely shady guy. And now that he is here, in a place so quiet, with her, he looks just like the pervert. Did he trail her here? Now this kind of guy is the reason she brings Bakken whenever she trained on Murayama's house. I see that you're training an art of swords. The guy suddenly talking to her. His piercing dark blue eyes trailed on her weapon. Let's put it to practice, shall we? Asuka gets into her fighting stance. This pervert just got himself a fight. Issei Hyoudou, on the way to Asuka's location. Issei's sensitive nose picks up several things. Sun-like smell, earth-like smell, and blood. Blood, Asuka's. Odd. Issei didn't want to believe it, not even as the smell of blood getting stronger and thicker. No. It can't be. Issei didn't want to believe it. When Issei arrived, a black-haired woman wearing a Kuo Academy outfit is calling forth lightning, trying to fry the fallen angel that Issei guessed to be Donosik. A Redeed with similar clothes can be seen just beside Asuka, preparing to do a ritual. Asuka's broken Bakken lies beside her. Issei land with a big thud, creating a small crack where he just fall, shocking everyone present before Donosik and the lightning summoner back to their fight. He moved and crouched beside Asuka's corpse, holding her hand. Issei scanned her still form. He noted that there are some bruises here and there. What killed her was a hole on her chest, where her heart should be, evidence that something sharp has pierced it. The same thing that should have happened to him if he is a human to begin with. His sight then moves to Asuka's broken Bakken, a sign that Asuka did fight back, after all. That's my sister. Issei can't help but be a little proud. His little sister has grown. Issei, don't worry, I can bring her back. The Redeed tried to comfort him, touching his shoulder. Issei quickly stands up, averse to her touch. Yeah, as your servant. Issei wanted to retort, but rather bit it back since he can't do anything. Devil or not, I will be a better brother, Asuka, I promise. He had wanted Asuka to be alive and human, but now even if the devils resurrected her as a dog, Issei will take that chance. These devils. Issei clench his fist. They are a bunch of bastards, profiting from an event like this to gain loyal and powerful servants. They even wait until his sister is dead, unforgivable. These angels. Issei gritted his teeth at Donosik charging a blue light spear. They just murder everyone they think is a threat. Fuck them. But for now, Issei will have to satisfy himself with the blood of Donosik. Tell your ally to back off. Issei talks to the Redeed, figuring she must be the leader. Said Redeed, Ria's Gremory, contemplated on not doing it, but she figures that Issei should be powerful enough to fend off the fallen angel if his energy is an indication. Besides, she can resurrect him if he failed. Bakeno, yes but you? Fall back for now. Hi. Bakeno moved back slowly, not letting Donaseek have any chances to completely obliterate Asuka's body. The enigmatic boy, Issei, calmly walks past her. Bakeno doesn't know what energy Issei emitted from his body, but she knows it is full of malice and killing intent. Kaneko would be traumatized if she is here. HMPH, you're this girl's brother? Then Rainer must have failed her task. What a piece of shit, she can't even defeat a human scum. The fallen angel in front of Issei start monologuing. Issei doesn't have time for that. Although the fact that you defeat her means you must have some talent. The name is Donaseek, remember that who? Ack. Donaseek is cut off by Issei suddenly disappearing from his sight and reappear just in front of him, planting his right fist to the fallen angel's solar plexus. The skin on his right arm has been shredded, revealing scales not unlike those of serpents. Shut the fuck up. Issei followed with an uppercut. The fallen angel regains his balance after the force of Issei's punch launch him in the air. Don't get cocky, lower being. Donaseek charged his spear and throw it to Issei, but Issei catch it easily, surprising everyone present. Donaseek charge another spear. Unlike Rainer, he doesn't have the ability to charge multiple spears at the same time. He flew at great speed, his spear in his hand. This time he used it for a close combat. Issei parried every single strike, even managing to score some wound on the fallen angel. Strange, the spear should be dissipated by now. The spear is powered by his angelic soul. It should have lost its form after not in his hand for so long. Issei catches his spear again barehandedly, this time the blade part. Shock is still written on Donaseek's face when he destroyed it. Then Issei rammed the spear in his hand to Donaseek's stomach. Impossible. The fallen angel coughed blood as he stumbled backward, holding on the spear. This one is for me. Issei kneed his opponent's face and he falls down to his back. In an instant, his leg stomped the joints connecting his arms to his shoulder, crushing it in first attempt, leaving the fallen angel unable to get up, much less countering him. The pain also serves to make Donaseek unable to make a coherent thought to save his dear life, giving Issei enough time to sit on his chest. The rest of this is for Asuka. Issei proceeds to pummel the fallen angel relentlessly, his fist not stopping once, as he keeps beating the crushed face again and again and again, only being satisfied when every bones on the fallen skull is completely destroyed. By the time Issei is done, nothing is left of Donaseek's face, much to the horror of those present. Getting up, Issei cracks his neck and his hands. Then he turns around to face the devils, showing the fallen angel his face stained with the fallen angel's blood. The devils who are too stunned by the savage brutality this creature displayed to even pay attention on their ritual. Leave his body here for the fallen angels to find. Issei's currently glowing crimson left eye only served to amplify the horrific atmosphere for the devils. It will serve as a warning. Both to the fallen angels and the devils. Death will come to those who touch his family. Asuka is convinced she is in a dream. How could not she? It must be the stranger hitting her head. Because there is no way the same stranger conjures some crazy light weapons like Star Wars. Hell, it looks even cooler than a lightsaber. Then the same stranger plunges that light weapon straight into her heart. And she is dying. In the dream anyway. In her dream, a leaflet given to her by a woman, a busty one, she gritted her teeth, dressed in devil costume, suddenly light up. And Ria's Gremory and Akeno Himejima, her hottest senpais, the two great one-sama, came out of some crop circle like Shinji. Then Ria senpai told her she is going to be her servant. She must have got a brain hemorrhage from the stranger's hit. Because not even she is that creative. The dream ends with the world fade to black and Asuka can't help but think her dream will make a good opening for a fantasy story. How long? How long until she wakes up? Issei walks around in circles, occasionally looking at Asuka, who sleeps in peace. Or in a coma. He can't tell. They are back to the Hyoudou residence, using magic to unlock the window, handy, Issei thought at the time, and put Asuka on her bed. A while. Usually the servant Issei cut her aggressively. Don't call her that in front of me. Ria's bit back her lips after seeing Issei's madness. She knows she has to tread carefully at the boy before him. He is clearly insane and hostile to supernatural creatures. There is no way she can convince him to join her peerage. First, his power is beyond her capability to turn him into a devil. Second, he doesn't like her. Whoever told him must have poisoned his mind, telling lies about Gremory clan. Gremory isn't like other devils, their servants are their families. Not that he will believe that. Half of her is weighing on if she should have brought her entire peerage and kill him, seeing he could be a big trouble to devils or to all supernatural creatures. But Asuka is crucial to defeat her fiancé, and killing Issei will no doubt make Asuka hate her. Sorry. Usually the recipient wakes up immediately as a devil, but her wounds are grave, the magic is focusing itself on reversing them. Wait, by your explanation, then it should be possible to heal her using those magic without changing her into a devil, right? Why don't we just remove the evil pieces after it is done healing her? Issei half-analyzed half-accused, and Riaz hold back the urge to fassip him. Not that easy, her soul is now bound by the pieces I planted inside. Fuck, Issei swears between his breath. This is a long day. Now why does he seem to be forgetting something? Rainer? What if she gets out and inform her fallen angel cronies about him and Asuka? He can't let her roam freely. I'm gonna go outside for a minute, don't follow me, I will now, I know you're sent to say open the window before he warned the girls. Oh, and please do try not to touch anything. The park. Rainer closed her eyes, focusing on something inside her. The gift from Azazel Sama. An artificial sacred gear, a prototype. It is not as powerful as Twilight healing that can heal instantly, but it can heal slowly, good for emergency treatment after a battle. It requires a great energy to use, though, not to mention it hurts as hell to use. She bit back a scream as the broken bones rearrange itself, the cracks can be heard even if all her body is in the ground. She forces herself to remain awake, fighting back the urge to just sleep. 15 minutes pass, most of her injuries already treated. Except her right arm, it will take longer, given that Issei practically smashed the bone to bits. It should be easy to break the ground. She tried to move. Nothing, not even a budge. Focusing on her angelic energy, she tried to manifest the light spear inside, to make a hole. Nothing. What the hell? The light spear is there, but the ground still refuses to open. Dear, I thought you already left, seems your allies don't care about you that much. A voice comes behind her. Issei Hyoudou, that punk. I told them I would relax myself until tomorrow, that's why they don't try to. In hindsight, it is an idiotic thing to say. Boo-oh, drowning yourself in booze after a long hard work. Or is it to mourn me? Issei teased, although his tone more to that of a tired man, instead of playful. No, I would have gotten laid, get me out of here. Rainer snarks back. Should I? I mean, it is improbable, but suppose a rabid dog comes and bit in your head. That dog would have died, come on. 10 minutes later, Rainer is out of it, Issei basically digs the whole ground with his bare hand. She only watches in fascination as Issei put things back the way they were. At any other time she would have run, but now she is still too tired to outrun Issei, so she didn't even try. Can you walk? Can you shit with your mouth? Rainer retorted. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, she can, but like she decided to use their bond in her favor, no matter how small. Without the bond, Issei would have punched her smug smile. Issei contemplated between supporting her while she walk or just carry her on his back. At least it will be more effort for her if it's the former, but not time efficient. Not that she can choke him if she want to, she can't harm him after all. Their friend killed her, and those devils turn her into their servant, Issei informed Rainer on the road. Did Donasik get away? Rainer replied. No, I leave him as a message. I take it he is dead. In a nutshell, no more words are exchanged between them, leaving them to their own mind. Issei sighed. This is a long day, he needs to sleep. Issei slid to his room with Rainer on his back, thankfully he didn't lock the window. He uses the handcuff that he used for his escape trick. Asuka requested Issei to perform one for her after seeing it on TV, and bind Rainer to him. Issei let out a rather loud yawn. What a tiring day. Night, she crow. Rainer swear lightly at her situation, moving around because the bed is too small, which annoy the dragon. You better stop moving, or I swear to God I will bury you on the park again. That did the trick. Issei sighed in contentment, at least she doesn't move anymore. Issei knew that cuffing himself with her probably won't do much, but at least if she tried to break the cuffs, well, you get the idea. Except for one. She didn't get the idea. Clang 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 clang. Issei is woken up in the morning by Rainer, off his bed, trying to cut the handcuff with her light spear, and it just won't break. Gee, your light spear is not as sharp as I thought, said Issei, although a little puzzled because he remembers Rainer piercing his body. Perhaps Rainer's throw use much more strength than he thinks. No, it is not, you enchant this cuff, Rainer accused him. Now that caused Issei to lift one eyebrow. He doesn't know magic. Nope, I don't know any magic. Then how do you explain this? Rainer shows him the undented chain. Maybe your light isn't as sharp as you think it is, Issei offer his piece. It is sharp, Issei Hyoudou, or don't you remember I pierced your stomach and lungs? Rainer is frustrated, why not admit to it? Is he afraid to show his hidden skill? I do. God, Buddha, whatever, maybe your throw is powerful enough to compensate. You flatter me, Issei, but my throw isn't that powerful. Why don't just admit to it? I don't. No magic. Issei emphasized every word. Then how do you explain this? Rainer repeatedly stabbed the chain. I don't know, she crow. Maybe you overestimate that lightsaber. You still want to say it's not sharp? Watch this. Rainer throw the light spear into the air and it falls blade first into the floor, piercing it. Issei can only gasp in shock. What the? 1, 2, 3. As if on K, Issei lost his marble. What the fuck, that is my floor, what the hell? Issei pushes Rainer back as he examined the wood. Issei-kun, why are you shouting? Mom, Issei murmured in realization before he hears footsteps. She is going up. Quick, hide. Issei roughly pull her and throw her to the bed. But wait. Rainer is too late from warning him about the handcuff. And Issei can only watch in his horror as he too being flown into the air and land on top her, the combined weight coupled with the force he used crushing the bed. What is that sound, Issei? And the world decides to make them joke of the day as Mrs. Hyoudou opened his door and her jaw hit the floor. This Issei, his mother stuttered, cannot find any word to say. And the world decides that maybe it can become the joke of the week. What is it, dear? His dad's behind her. And his nose bleeds. Not bleed as in lightly. It falls like rain. Issei follows his line of sight and found the source of the nosebleed. Rainer's dress has been partially torn after their fight, revealing a him. Much. Good morning, Akasama, Otu-sama. Rainer awkwardly greets them, complete with a smile that just screamed caught in the act. They will never live it down. Issei unlocked the handcuff in silence, and Rainer too didn't try to break it, as awkward as it is. All while they can hear his parents, downstairs, in heated discussion, to say at least. When did our boy become a man? From his tone, it is definitely a tone of happiness. Did you see the handcuff? Is that a fetish? Well, his mom playing the concerned parent, her tone betrayed a certain happy emotion. I will become a grandpa. He is too young for this. Oh come on, that boy has never shown any interest in women before. I think this is a good sign. Rainer only stares at the handcuff while Issei looks around at his messy bedroom. The broken bed and marked floor. His parents' discussion doesn't sound like it will end soon. And he still wants to sleep. But he has to go to school. Son of a bitch. Rainer, yes. The fallen angel woman turned her eyes from the handcuff to Issei Hyoudou, meeting his empty eyes. I wish I never met you. Understatement of the year. End of the year. So that's it for today's video, guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.